Hey guys! So for those of you considering this lifestyle, there are definitely some things that you should know before you plan to live in an RV or even a tiny house for that matter. A tiny house is a little bit different because it's constructed way better than RVs, but tiny spaces in general. The first thing I can think of is your bathtub will pretty much always be used as some kind of storage. It'll be a bathtub, a shower, a place to put all your dirty clothes, a place to put things that can't fit anywhere else. Unless you have a really nice large RV that has room for everything, then it's very rare that I've actually never ever talked to an RVer who hasn't used or doesn't use their bathtub or the bath space as storage of some kind. So actually, I'll show you mine so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is mine. I am painting the walls, so there is paint. That is a bag of dirty clothes. There's my dryer. There's more dirty clothes. That is my makeup bag. That is our off-grid toilet seat. And then behind that are all of our plastic bags, which I have not found a place for yet. And then, of course, all of our towels. So typically we actually have our washer in here too, but I took it outside since there's so much more room for us to use the washer outside. And we have our kids' potty seat, which we hang in the tub with a command hook because it's out of the way, and if they dribble on it or something, it's easy to spray off and just leave there. So if you're wanting to use your bathtub, you have to take everything out every single time and put everything back in order to shower or bathe. And sometimes that can be a pain in the butt, so that's why typically in our RV, our kids only use the tub, and we do when it's necessary. We use the campgrounds showers, and it's really nice for both of us to just kind of get away and have our own space and time away, and no screaming kids and no tiny shower. It's just our own time to shower in peace and quiet, so that's nice. And that's why we don't use our shower very often, and the boys just bathe like every night or every other night. But anyways, the dishes, typically most of the RVs have very shallow sinks, and so they stack up very quickly. And if you're not doing dishes every single day or at least twice a day, then it's gonna look like you haven't done dishes in weeks. And for some reason, having dirty dishes in your sink make the entire RV look just dirty, like you haven't cleaned in forever. So you have to constantly do dishes. We have a family of 4, and we pretty much always cook at home. So we have dishes sticking up or stacking up for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and so it piles up quickly, and you have to do dishes multiple times a day, or else quickly rinse them. Or like the pans, if I make scrambled eggs or something, I'll try to wash it right after I make eggs so that it doesn't stack up, because pans and pots just make it all the worse. Which brings me to the countertops, actually. Our RV is pretty small. It's 28 feet, but RVs in general just don't have much counter space. Our counter space is super limited because we have a double sink, a double shallow sink, and then just a tiny bit of space, and then it's our stove, and then that's it. So, and our stove we actually don't even use, and my husband and I have talked about it, and we're going to take it out so that we can use that space as actual countertop space and use the underneath as storage. For those of you who are wondering, we use a toaster oven and an induction cooktop. So we cook at home, just we don't use our stove. Yeah, so there's like no prep space at all, and it's a major pain in the butt sometimes, which is why when I'm cooking things that consist of multiple things needing to be cooked, it doesn't happen like that. I usually cook it one at a time, and it's just a slow process. There is a limited amount of seating, so when you're having company over, you more than likely are going to have that company sit outside or like on the picnic table or get your lawn chairs or something. There's not very much seating inside, especially if you don't have a slide. Then it's like really cramped. You get one more person in addition to what you're already used to having, and you feel like you're kind of suffocating. So we do have a slide, and earlier today there were 2 people over today, and it wasn't that bad. My husband and my oldest son weren't here, so it was like the typical 4 that we have in here. But when you get more than like 1 or 2 people in your RV, then starts to feel very crowded, and there's just limited spots to sit, so, or stand for that matter. There's no privacy. There's basically none. No privacy. We have one door in our RV, and that's to the bathroom. And it's so small in there, we don't like to close it all the way, because it's really cramped. It's the toilet, like 8 inches of floor, then the tub, and then off the other side it's like another 8 inches, and then it's the sink. So I mean, there's very little space in the bathroom to have any kind of privacy. So we don't have a door on our bedroom, it's just a curtain, and so the kids always know what we're doing, and we always know what they're doing, and there's just absolutely no privacy, which is why it's always good to talk with your spouse or whoever you're RVing with, and talk about having some just quality alone time, especially if you have children, because sometimes it can drive you a little nuts being in such a small space without any kind of privacy. So think about that. RV beds are definitely a lot different than typical beds. We have a queen bed that's an RV bed. So this is 6 inches shorter than your typical queen bed. So when we first put sheets, and we have like a bed sheet protector, something like that on here, it would slide off because it would be too small for the bed. And it was driving me insane. Every single morning I would wake up with a corner or 2 of the bed flipped up, and I would just go crazy. And finally I picked up those like sheet clips, I think they are. You just clip one end of the sheet to the other corner, and it clips it so that it makes the sheet shorter so that it fits the bed properly, and basically haven't had an issue since then. Thank goodness. For those of you who are thinking of getting a regular queen size bed, which we had thought about taking this out and just getting a real queen size bed, but after we got a mattress topper, and it was for a regular queen size bed, and we put that on, and then it stuck out 6 inches, and we're like, no, definitely not losing the 6 inches. I mean, we barely have room to walk through right now. Losing another 6 inches would be horrible. We would constantly be bumping into the wall. So we just trimmed the topper down to fit our RV bed. But that is definitely something to think about, is 6 inches makes a big difference for RVs and tiny spaces when you're thinking about your bed. the walls in RVs are basically crap. They are very thin plywood. If you fell into them accidentally too hard, they would probably break. You can't hang anything on them. We use command hooks. Sorry, we use command hooks almost everywhere. There's not really any nails here. We had tried the nail thing, and that's good for small things like small pictures and hanging up some keys or something like that. But when it comes to actually hanging stuff, it's probably not going to work. I had bought a cute little corner shelf to stick in the corner over here to put my lamp on, and then I bought it, and then I realized as soon as I bought it, there was nowhere to actually screw in a nail because it was just all plywood. If you find the studs, which are placed a little bit differently than actual houses, then you can, but you have to find the stud and you have to make sure you find it. I had found a stud in the ceiling and hung our TV up from the ceiling, and the stud was not big enough, and our TV little holder thing was to put 4 nails in, and it would hold the TV down. A very small TV, like I think ours is 26 inches, and so I put the nails through. 3 of the nails went through the stud. The 4th one would not fit. So it ended up being okay for a little bit, but then when we traveled from California to Illinois a while ago, our TV fell from the ceiling onto the floor and broke. So I don't know. I have to think of a different solution there. Maybe it just wasn't strong enough, but I'll show you that what ended up looking like. That is what we have now, is just 4 holes, and only 3 of those were on the actual stud. So now we've placed our TV right like that, but it's so far up that there's a glare, so I'm not quite sure what to do. So you can see it's really high up, not like a normal TV sits. So, and if you saw downstairs, my house is just a little bit dirty and in disarray because of the kids. But if things do not have a place, then your house or your RV is going to look dirty all the time. So it is a good rule to have a place for everything and everything in its place kind of thing. Because if not, it's just, you're going to have things that you don't want, or you want but don't have space for. And in our RV, everything has a space. Everything, it has a spot where it's supposed to belong. So stuff gets torn out because of the kids like to play with their toys and stuff, but everything goes back directly in its spot. So make sure that you have that rule that everything has a place to go to when you're done using it, because your house will just look incredibly dirty all the time, and you don't want that. But that's all I have for right now. I will make a part 2, and so this isn't a forever long video.